Good evening, everyone, again. If you don't know me, I'm Mariana Pavlovskaya. Don't laugh. Okay. Well, thank you. I am chair of our wonderful department, which is Department of Geography and Environmental Science. And I would like to welcome everyone to our annual reception and awards presentation. As last year, we do it in hybrid format. And I think a good number of people are zooming in, but I'm so excited that all of you were able to come here in person. So this is really nice, and I hope food is good. So now, before we begin, let me say thank you to so many people without whose participation, hard work, and devotion, this event would not be possible at all. So first of all, I would like to thank all our full-time and adjunct faculty for the amazing effort you all made to teach with inspiration, excel in research, and devote much time and effort to making our department a better place for all. Okay, thank you to all those of you who also have prepared and are taking part in today's festivities and in this celebration. Special thanks to our staff for your dedication in supporting the department and organizing this event. I'm grateful to Mimosa Frankfurt, Nguyen Ngoc, Amy Ju, and Marina Avanesyan. So today it is Amy and Marina who are present here. So they are kind of doing heavy lifting of logistics. Be very kind to them and grateful. Okay, so then I would like to extend my very special thanks to the deputy chair of our department, who is Professor Aidee Salmoun. So I would like to thank Aidee for her excellent service this past year. We would be lost more than once without your insight and your wit. This is for sure. So then my profound thanks go, of course, to Hunter College administration for supporting us this past year in so many ways. And also many of you coming here today to celebrate our students' successes. I'm grateful to President Kirchner, who may come also to join us. I'm grateful to Provost Pardasani, who said he would be here, so he also could be joining us. To Dean Polsky, who is here. I'm also excited that our new dean, Chito Childs, may be coming and joining us as well, but she's not here too. Yet, I'm sorry. So now we are infinitely grateful, as always, to the Society of Women Geographers for supporting our best female graduate students with incredibly generous awards. Welcome to Susan Leonard right here, who is the president of New York chapter of this society. Many thanks to Miriam and late Sol Cohen and their family for supporting year after year our most ambitious student researchers with prizes that matter so much for their successes. Many thanks to New York Map Society and for supporting Alice Hudson Student Map Awards. Thanks to Laura Ten Eyck, who was going to join us today, who is the Vice President of New York Map Society, and also to Steve Hannon, the President of New York Map Society, who will be joining us remotely. Thank you also to past President Jennifer Raab for enabling us to recognize our students with special awards second year in a row. Deep gratitude to Charlie and Debbie Hitwall for a generous donation to the department. Now retired and living on the West Coast, Charlie has served as chair of our department too many times to count, and he still visits the department every time he happens to be in New York. Now, also many thanks to generous sponsor of Oak Tree Award, Jack Eichenbaum, who sadly passed away earlier this academic year. Jack has taught a course on field geography of New York City for us for decades. Now it is this course is taught by Professor Miyares, who is right there. Jack was also a founder and board member of Gizmo, an organization of GIS professionals of New York City. Jack is fondly remembered by everyone who had a chance to know him. I think Amy included a slide with his photo in the slideshow. Yes, so you will see it. All right, so now thanks as always to ICET for making the hybrid format possible. Hi, Chris, good to see you. And last but not the least, thank you to all you, the students of our department, undergraduate students and graduate students, right? You are concluding this semester at Hunter with many different achievements, and we are eager to celebrate. Those of you who are graduating, you made it. So proud of you, okay? Hope this reception will be memorable for you all. So welcome all. Now, a few words about the structure of the event. So you would have to listen to me more because I will have to start with the state of the department address. Then we will proceed with GTU induction ceremony. Those of you who don't know what it is, please remain puzzled for some time. So then we will announce our service and student awards. And we will finish the event by congratulating students who plan to graduate this spring and this summer. Okay, is everyone good? Okay, excellent. So now state of the department address. So by tradition, we have to start with the weather. You probably heard it many times, but it's still the case. And actually it is very unremarkable today. Like no much sunshine, right? No much rain, nothing going on. In 1878, for example, it was 3 times cooler on this day. And in 1951, twice as hot as it is today. So you can see that the weather varies a lot, right? And it is looking at the climate that shows us the trend. And the trend is unchecked warming, leading to what many today call climate emergency. As you must know by now, the latest IPCC report was incredibly blunt in stating that the window of opportunity to prevent disastrous consequences for billions of people is still open, but closing fast. They recently surveyed over 400 climate scientists. In overwhelming majority, say that the goal of keeping the world average air temperature at 1.5 degrees of Celsius has failed. In sharing their perspective, many are in despair. They say, we do have science. We do have evidence of the last 3 years when fires, floods, storms, and diseases destroyed so many lives, homes, vital infrastructures. But governments and corporations don't listen. All companies greenwashed some of their PR statements, but keep doing the same thing. What we do, the scientists say, the knowledge we keep producing is not put into action. At the same time, many of them said that it's not the end yet. Keeping the warming down, even by fractions of degrees, will make a huge difference for majority of world people in the future. It's gonna ease their future suffering. Thus, I think that today's message is not only to monitor and explain the mechanisms of climate emergency, its effects on the natural and human systems, and contemplate mitigation and adaptation measures. Today, the challenge is to open space for bold action, without which the horizon of sustainability keeps moving away and might turn into a mirage. And it is exactly what our department is best equipped to do: grow competent earth scientists and GIS analysts, as well as human geographers who would be seeking the path for that bold action in policy, economy, and society, while counting on each other for the combined expertise. Without acting in new ways together, achieving environmental and social sustainable worlds and cities would not be possible. So In my opinion, our department continues to rise up to this challenge. Our courses collectively have the highest enrollments in years. We brought on board undergraduate spatial data science certificate. The 2 sections that we scheduled are already fully enrolled. Sustainability certificate in minor is about to be completed too. We continue to expand our expertise and offer courses and experiential learning opportunities that provide students with a solid foundation for careers in areas of climate emergency, environmental and social sustainability, and green economy. The demand for this expertise, called by some the new computer science, will explode in the next 5-10 years. Enlarging faculty expertise is an important step. In addition to doctoral lecturer Shruti Phillips, where is Shruti? She's right there, right? And ASRC Director of Environmental Crossroads Initiative, Charlie Worrell-Smarty, who is not here today. They both joined us last year. This year, we had a great honor to welcome to our department 2 new amazing faculty. Those amazing faculty are doctoral lecturer in earth science, Jeffrey Fuad, who cannot be here today because he's moving his parents, and assistant professor in Black geographies and Black ecologies, Alex Moulton, who is sitting right there, okay? So they both already added greatly to our department as excellent teachers and up-and-coming researchers. So huge welcome to you both guys again. Next year, as Provost Pardasani keeps saying, we should be able to conclude one more research in Earth data science, another piece of expertise that we are waiting for with great anticipation. Turning to our programming, our website lists 13 events for the National Geography Awareness Week last fall. They range from research talks to artists sharing their thoughts about the environment, from career panels with scientists and alums to internship panels by our students, from student research presentations to outdoor tree planting and cleanup events organized by our amazing student club, Greenbelt Society. I'm sure we will hear about them more later today. This spring, we co-sponsored with philosophy and other departments Hunter panel on environmental ethics. Our faculty and students were at the forefront of Q&A section. Those of you who attended it probably remember that. Where is Marinella? Marinella, she was the one who asked, like first student who asked the question. Very good. Then, in addition to that, we conducted our inaugural Climate Science and Action Forum that featured our departmental and other CUNY faculty. We also conducted a panel on the role of AI, artificial intelligence, if you kind of are not catching it yet, right, in geospatial research. We also organized 3 amazing field trips for our students. In addition, we had several events for our 2 majors, thanks to our undergraduate advisors, met with admissions folks, and continued to partner with Hunter College advisors. I'm told that in the fall of 2024, 115 students from the incoming freshman class said that they would like to major in environmental studies or geography. So they will be coming to our department, and I think we are ready for them, right? So furthermore, faculty continue to excel in publishing research grants and academic leadership. To share great news, 3 of our colleagues were promoted this past year. Everyone's external reviews were absolutely glowing and amazing. So I would like to congratulate Professor Shipping-san, sitting right there, and Andy Ryman. So Shipping-san is our GIS professor, Andy Ryman, who can't be today because he has to attend the funeral in his family, is forest ecologist. So both of them were promoted from assistant professor to associate professor rank with tenure. What could be better, right? So there you go. In addition to that, our Earth climate scientist, Professor Aidey Salmoon, was promoted to the full professor rank. So let's congratulate him. And after, I guess, 3 decades at the department, our college lab technician, Amy Ju, was promoted to senior CLT rank. Here is Amy. So this department won't be able to run without Amy's input. We all know that. So the department as a whole continues to be a unique place within Hunter that combines several areas of expertise that all are directly relevant to climate emergency sustainability nexus. Together, we share the commitment to our students. This is because their lives will be shaped by challenges of climate emergency and quest for sustainability, like all of you. As I'm saying, like many of us will be happily dead, you know, by that time, but not you. So this is why we collectively seek new strength in those areas of expertise. This is why this is what we have to give to you, our students. So last but not the least, next year, many of our long-term and new colleagues will step into departmental collective governance. I would like to greet the new caretaker of the department, new chair, Professor Peter Markatulio, who's sitting like that. Peter is a great researcher and a great colleague. Huge welcome to the newly elected PNB members. And they include Professors Aidey Salmoon, Professor Bill Selecki, who just landed in DC for a research meeting and can be here today, Randy Radberg, who's sitting right there, and Jochen Albrecht. Now, also greetings to our new DL, Jeffrey Fuad, who actually will become new undergraduate advisor for both majors, geography and environmental studies. Also greetings to Shipping Sun, who's sitting right there, right? Who will step into advising for our MS in geoinformatics program. And I would like to thank again Shona Hearn, who is not here today. He's attending a research meeting, for taking this program off the ground and directing it for over a decade. In conclusion, the department is strong, right? Our spirits are high and our energies abound. So I'm looking to very, very good times ahead. Thank you very much. I hope it didn't take too long. Well, Amy will tell me the truth later. Okay. So now we are turning to the induction ceremony into International Geographical Honor Society, Gamma Theta Epsilon. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 students who are being inducted. And the induction ceremony will be conducted by Amy Ju and Ines Millares, please.
Thank you. Gamma Theta Epsilon, or GTU, is an international honor society in geography. Gamma Theta Epsilon was founded in 1928 and became a national organization in 1931. Members of GTU have met academic requirements and share a background and interest in geography. GTU chapter activities support geographic knowledge and awareness. And every year at the annual Department of Geography and Environmental Science awards presentation, we induct new members who have applied for and met the criteria for membership. Today, I have the privilege of introducing the 4 newest members, bringing our chapter's total to 162 members. Will you please come up when we call your name? Melanie Arellano. Oh, she's on Zoom, so if you could wave, there we go. Naya Leitman, come on up. Luke Sheehan and Michael Stewart. And I've had the privilege of teaching all of these students, and they are definitely deserving of this. Before proceeding with their pledge in service to GTU, we're going to acquaint you, all of you, with a brief history, its goals, and the symbolism of our key. On May 15th of 1928, a local professional fraternity under the name of Gamma Theta Epsilon was organized at Normal, at Illinois, under the leadership of Dr. Robert G. Buzzard. Prior to that time, it had been known as the Geography Club of Illinois State Normal University. After 3 years of successful functioning, letters were sent out to other geography clubs suggesting that a national fraternity be organized. The national organization, with 4 chapters, was announced on May 15, 1931. Gamma Theta Epsilon, with 10 chapters, was incorporated under the laws of the state of Illinois as a professional fraternity in geography on March 5th of 1936. In January of 1949, Gamma Theta Epsilon became an international geographic honor society. Our local chapter, Theta Pi, was founded on November 13th, 1998, with a lot of footwork done by Amy Ju when she was an undergrad, with 15 charter members. I had the privilege, along with my former colleague here and grad school buddy, P. Combs, to induct that first class, because we had been inducted as when we were graduate students at Arizona State, one of the original 10 organizations or chapters.
The goals of Gamma Theta Epsilon are directed towards furthering the discipline of geography, geographic excellence, and service. They are as follows. 1, to further professional interest in geography by affording a common organization for those interested in the field. 2, to strengthen student and professional training through academic experiences in addition to those of the classroom and laboratory. 3, to advance the status of geography as a cultural and practical discipline for study and investigation. 4, to encourage student research of high quality and to promote an outlet for publication. 5, to create and administer funds for furthering graduate study and/or research in the field of geography. 6, to encourage members to apply geographic knowledge and skills in service to humankind.
The Gamma Theta Epsilon badge is a key that signifies the achievement and quality in the field of geography. The badge also incorporates the land, water, and sky, which serve to convey the interdisciplinary nature of geography across these 3 spheres and anything that is connected to them. The base or body of the key is a 7-sided shield, with each bevel bearing the initial of one of the Earth's great land masses: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. These land masses represent the physical and environmental world, as well as the primary zones of human habitation, which we study in conjunction with the physical world. Spread across the base of the key are 5 wavy blue lines representing the 5 great oceans, the Atlantic, Indian, Pacific, Arctic, and Antarctic or Great Southern Ocean, that serve as barriers to travel, but also represent the majority of the Earth's surface and the changing relationship that humanity has shared with the hydrosphere. A white star above the waves symbolizes Polaris, the North Star, as a guide to travelers over the uncharted vastness of the world. We can even think of this white star as a constellation representing the vast celestial network of satellites that now help us navigate and measure phenomena across the globe. At the top of the key are the letters gamma, theta, and epsilon, the 3 initials of the Greek words Gi for earth, thalassa for sky, and hypothrois, atmosphere, to serve as a reminder of the 3 environmental spheres of interest to geographers and the dynamic nature of the world that geographers study. They are symbolized as brown for the earth, light blue for the sky, and gold, or light blue for the sea and gold for the sunlight and sky. Gamma Theta Epsilon is an honor society in the field of geography. There are no secret words, handshakes, none of that. But it is a sign that they have an interest and achievement in geography, and they're pledged to support and promote the discipline. They do, to become a member, you apply and you have to meet certain grade criteria and have taken enough geography courses to qualify. And we do honor these students because they are definitely worthy.
Having become acquainted with the meaning of Gamma Theta Epsilon, are you willing to take the pledge of membership? If so, answer I am.
I am.
Then repeat after me. I do hereby pledge myself
I do hereby here pledge myself
to service in geography
to service in geography
throughout my lifetime,
throughout my lifetime,
in whatever capacity I may find,
in whatever capacity I may find,
and to use geography
and to use geography
to the service of humanity.
to the service of humanity.
As the founder and president of the Theta Pi chapter of Gamma Theta Epsilon, I welcome you into membership of Gamma Theta Epsilon with all of the rights and privileges which such membership entails. I hope that your years in the organization and as a friend of geography will bring you much pleasure and happiness. Congratulations.
And this does include things like access to particular scholarships and things like that. So
You want us to stand in the front? Yeah, we can stand for just-
Andre say secret society. Perfect.
Okay, congratulations. And it is always good to hear the story, right? Because it kind of brings our today to some past developments and makes the connections feel real. So that's very good. Thank you. Now we are going to honor our student who received an amazing award, supposedly the first of the kind in the history of Hunter College. So this is Graduate Boron Fellowship. And the award will be presented to Michael Stewart, who's sitting right there. And it will be presented by Bill Salecki, who is not here today, but he recorded a video that Amy is gonna play right now. And then we will ask Michael to say very, very brief something. Thank you.
With this message, I'd like to congratulate Michael Stewart, a master's student in geography, on winning the David L. Bourne Fellowship to study Arabic in Morocco next year. This will be a $30,000 fellowship. While undergraduates at Hunter have previously won this award, Michael will be the first Hunter graduate student to win such award, and as such, it's a high honor. Last year, only 108 students nationally were selected for this prestigious fellowship. The fellowship will prepare Michael to write a master's thesis on high-speed rail in Morocco, examining both its effect on greenhouse gas emissions and improvements to quality of life in the country. To investigate Morocco's public transit initiatives, Michael will have to conduct interviews and engage with local stakeholders in Moroccan Arabic, a dialect of Arabic. And the fellowship will focus on him learning and becoming fluent in this language. The Bourne Fellowship is funded by the National Security Education Program, which focuses on geographic areas, languages, and fields of studies which are critical to U.S. national security interests and underrepresented study abroad areas. The program draws a broad definition of national security to include not only traditional concerns for protecting and promoting American well-being, but also the challenges of global security, global society, including sustainable development, environmental degradation, global disease and hunger, population growth and migration, and economic competitiveness. And as such, Michael's work and his ambition to look at the transit system of Morocco fits directly into the agenda of what the Bourne Fellowship is trying to promote. So again, congrats to you, Michael. Apologies for not being there today. I know you'll make great use of these resources and forward your research in really impressive ways.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I'm very excited to receive this fellowship. It's something I've been thinking about for so long now. It's kind of consuming all of my thoughts. So, it's a big opportunity, and I'm excited to be the first Hunter graduate student. I'm also excited that the first Hunter graduate student to do this is from the geography department. So let's give ourselves a round of applause. You all were very helpful to me in applying to this. Professor Jochen Albrecht, Professor Ines Miaris, Professor Bill Selecki all helped me with crafting my application and writing letters of recommendation. Also, Stephen Lassonde in the Office of Scholarships helped a lot with me formulating my application. And then others like Professor Alex Moulton and so many of you gave me additional perspective as I was applying to this. So I'm very excited to do this, and I hope to make you all proud. Oh.
Bill is not here, so you have to stand.
Thank you.
Wanted to get in there too, Mariana's department. Oh, Inez, yeah.
You're welcome. My privilege.
Great. Thank you so much.
Gosh, with two photographers, it feels like, almost like a news press conference or something. Okay, so moving forward, now we are going to present our two service awards. And the first award is Henry Sirotin Outstanding Adjunct Award. This award goes to our long-term adjunct professor, Enrique Lanzoca. Where is Enrique? Right there, huh? Okay. And it will be presented by Professors Randy Radberg and Natalie Monterosa.
Enrique, congratulations. It's an honor to give you this award. I've known you for a long time, since you were a graduate student in my course. And we want to acknowledge your outstanding contributions as a professor, as a mentor, as a capstone advisor. Thank you for all of that. In addition, we want to acknowledge you as a founding member of the Greenbelt Society, which has given our students so many opportunities to improve the environment in New York City and have all different outdoor experiences, as well as build community in our department. We appreciate your service. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Well, what can I say about Enrique? Many of you have known him a whole lot longer than I have, but for the 5 years that I've known him, an incredible human being. Let me just say that. I was his student actually in his international pollution class, and after I graduated, that was my final semester, and I spent it at Hunter, which I was very grateful for. He approached me and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting this group." And fast forward 5 years later, here we are, Greenbelt Society. So it's an honor, a pleasure to know you and to work with you. And thank you for being a mentor, and to me and many other students throughout the years. And of course, our Greenbelt Society folks as well. So congratulations. And again, thank you.
Yeah, put him in the middle, in front of that.
Stage. Nicely embroidered folders. Oh, yeah.
Yes, this, you mean this? Sorry. I don't know what's in here. Should I just give him the whole bag?
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Let me see. What's a record here? A map, obviously. Thank you very much. Yes, I would like to say something to the audience here. And this is what I am going to read for everybody here. It was a hot and humid day in New York City when I came for the first time to the Geography and Geology department in the summer 1998. I was going to meet with Martha Taylor, who was going to show me the department in person and the main requirements for the master program in geography. Due to her pregnancy, Martha had difficulties moving around the corridors, classrooms, and labs. Since this first visit, I had constantly lived a constellation of vibrant and exciting experiences with all of you as a graduate lab instructor and lecturer. One of these experiences was crucial in my professional formation and contribution to the department. While picking up plastic debris together with students and colleagues in a cleanup activity at Jamaica Bay, I became aware of the extraordinary potential of our students. They are the present and will be the future of our society, facing, this current ecological crisis. Meditating about these experiences makes me to think that I would like to dedicate and offer this award to my students, especially those connected to the Greenbelt Society. But also, I would like to dedicate this award to my colleagues, Natalie Monterrosa and Ramiro Campos, two crucial figures in the empowerment and formation of this student, as well as the promotion of this department. Especially dedicatory to Natalie Monterosa, who has unfortunately suffered dramatic experiences this semester. Finally, I would like to thank the department for offering me this award. And I don't want to forget this for all of you here. Under this ecological pressure that we are suffering now, unfortunately, global conflicts, pressure against the indigenous communities, traditional knowledge, and also the Enlightenment, we need to remember that. We need to be strong. We need to have strength, but also we need to have vision if we want to survive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Professors Radberg and Monterosa, and huge congratulations to Enrique for being so important part of our department for so long, and for playing this amazing role of a faculty mentor to our students in Greenbelt Society and in many other situations. Thank you, Enrique, for everything. Okay, so now we are moving towards the next service award, and this is our highest award. It is called Anastasia Van Berkele Award for Distinguished Service. We don't have to give out this award every year. We only give it out when there is a special person to receive this award. And this year's award goes to the Dean of Arts and Sciences, Andy Polsky, who is sitting right there, and Professors Aide Salmoon, Ellen Fry, remotely, and myself. We will present this award. Please.
Well, first, congratulations. As a woman's geoscientist, I'm going to talk a little bit about the award and the woman after which the award is named, particularly because she was a woman geoscientist. But as a woman geoscientist, I take a lot of pride and joy in talking about another woman geoscientist. She was a leader and a pioneer in the field, a woman that many of my colleagues in here probably owe the carving of a space that now we occupy. So it goes to my colleagues in here too. And today the award in her name goes to a very deserving member of our community, one that provided a tremendous academic leadership at Hunter College and particularly provided a lot of support for all of the wonderful things that now we accomplished in the past few years with our government. Now, the woman. Anastasia Van Berkele was born in 1911, even before my father. Attended Hunter College and graduated with a bachelor's degree in geology in 1931. She then enrolled in the master's program at Columbia University. She finished her master's degree in 1933, at a time when there were more women in the field of architecture and engineering, a contradiction in terms, than in the field of geology and meteorology. By the way, that there were more women probably meant 1% in engineering. It's about 10% now. She then stayed at Columbia and earned a PhD, a doctorate degree in 1944, becoming the first woman to receive the prestigious title of Kempt Fellowship in Geology at Columbia. And then she began teaching at Hunter in 1941 and remained here until her retirement and becoming then a professor emerita. She became now a chair of the then Department of Geology and Geography in 1961 and served in this capacity for 4 consecutive years. And I note that at the time, a term for the chair was 4 years. So I call that persistence, endurance, and dedication, which can also be said about Andy Bosky. So you can share that. Under her leadership, the department grew and prospered. She was elected to the Hunter College Alumni Hall of Fame in 1973. And then in 1996, she was given an honorary Doctor of Science by the Hunter College-CUNY institution. She was a committed teacher, produced an outstanding amount of scholarship. She published numerous articles. I would be following in the steps of, I will refer to long discourses if I decided to list them all here. I will not. Gave lectures, was very active in professional organization, the American Geographical Society and the Society of Women New York group that we are now still represented here. I'd like to simply note that her research included geomorphology, physical geography, cartology, conservation resources, medical geology, and geography. Everything that we still do in this department and that we can still teach you more about. She produced one of the first analytical works on the New York City water supply. Professor Fry still working on water supply systems, and a 4-part transactional excursion field guide for the 1952 International Geographical Union annual meeting in the United States. The award dates from 1990 to mark her 50 years of service to Hunter College. The Anastasia Boone Barkalow Distinguished Service Award was created then, 1990, and it continues to be awarded to this day to some people, person, organization that espouses the values and goals that I believe she set for herself. So I welcome Mariana and Andrew Polsky to the podium to continue with the award. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, we are going to do the video, the message from Ellen Fry, our former chair, and then I'll say a couple of words to Andy as well.
Hi, Dean Polsky. Congratulations for being chosen as this year's recipient of the Anastasia von Berkalow Award. As you probably already heard, this is our department's highest honor, and you are an esteemed company. And in my humble opinion, this is very well deserved. I was chair of our department from 2012 through 2018, with the exception of 1 year during which I was on sabbatical, and Professor Pavlovskaya skillfully took my place. You assumed your role as dean within about a year or two after I started, as I remember. I did not know you before that, and I must say that I was very impressed with you from the first meeting in which you introduced yourself to the chairs, when you explained exactly how you intended to handle your transition from faculty to administrator. You did so in a very clear and forthright manner, which is exactly how you conducted yourself during the ensuing years. During the time of our overlap, our department and the school in general were going through a number of transitions, and there were always opportunities as well as challenges that arose, all within the context of budget constraints. I always felt that you had the best interests of the college in mind and that you always did your very best to support our department as much as possible. While I must admit, I did not necessarily always agree with you every single time, I always felt that I could express my opinion and voice our department's needs and concerns, and that you were open to hearing them. So thanks for your years of service during your tenure as dean, and for all the support that you provided to our department.
Thank you to Alan. He can hear me, right? But what can you do? Um, so Ellen Fry spoke as past chair, so I'm going to speak as the latest chair, right? And then maybe we can hear from Peter in the future about the incoming dean, something good as well. So I must say that, Andy, you are the only dean that I knew as chair of the department, so I can kind of compare how good or bad you are relative to other deans. So, but also I must say I could have written like a long, fast-paced story about certain developments at Hunter College in our department, how all these interactions have occurred. It would be long, very fast-paced though. But I'm gonna just mention several things. So the first that come from my personal experience, Andy, with you as the dean of the college. So first, I must say that obviously Andy is very, very dedicated administrator whose commitments to Hunter College overlap with mine all the time. But my commitments to our department with your commitments to our department did not always overlap, right? Obviously, for Indy, our department was one of many, and actually not on top of the list within Hunter College in terms of majors, resources, and all this kind of stuff. So I quickly realized as chair that I can't take for granted that Andy would say yes to my requests, okay? And I heard no more than once, especially when canceling courses, to my great frustration. Famously, when talking about our popular geology labs, Andy would say it doesn't matter to students at Hunter College whether to take geology or biology or chemistry lab as a science requirement. To my point that students want geology lab and not biology or chemistry, that apples and oranges are round, but they're different fruit. What do you think Andy would say? Andy would say, Mariana, they're still the fruit. This is it. So they would meet this requirement. Yet Andy, you are administrator who listened. Not immediately, but soon enough, I felt that Andy began realizing the value of our department as a whole. Prior to that, I felt our administration doesn't really know who we are and what we do besides some very, very specific area of GIS. They had little idea what human geography is, for example, what we teach, and that we teach advanced earth science courses, for example, and why we do all of that within the same department. For starters, Andy began soon see that we actually have two majors within the department, geography and environmental studies. And I emphasize that because that was not really clear to many members of Hunter administration. Somehow they kind of see the department in only one major. But what was very important to communicate is that these are two majors for different groups of students, right? Who have different background and learn a lot of similar skills while in our department, but they really would play different role in this rapidly expanding field of climate emergency sustainability, right? And it is working together for students who would acquire this expertise that would matter the most for addressing all these problems within the next 5, 10, 15 years. So it was very important also in the context of adjunct budget to have a conversation about the fact that we need adjunct money for teaching geology labs and also geography courses, right? Human geography courses. So that was very, very important thing. Advocating for adjunct budget, obviously, Nancy, you probably would agree with that, was very intense. Like I'm sure it is the case with many other departments. So I would go talk to Indy or write those hundreds of emails feeling like I'm on a battlefield. And my only weapons are actually common sense and also sense of humor, to which I'm going to come back. So from advocating for adjunct budget, we then moved to advocating for different lines to patch the long-term holes in this expertise that we desperately needed earth science faculty and human geographers with expertise in race and environmental justice. When Andy started saying to me, Mariana, you preach to the converted, that was the moment when I realized that Andy sees us as a department with all these multiple dimensions, and also, without promising anything, might be able to lend us support when advocating for those lines. So I must say that our two doctoral lecturers in earth science, our assistant professor in Black geographies, right, and the line still in progress in earth data science would not be real, right, would not materialize, if not for Indy's understanding of the importance of this combined expertise for our department and that combined expertise of the department for the college. So I think that has been very, very important for us as a department. So another important thing about Indy's leadership is that faculty development and promotions have been at the center of your duties as the dean. So you have been the one who advocated for promotions of faculty who resumed their scholarship after a pause. And also I must say that Andy played very important role in supporting our faculty and staff promotions. While long in the making, this past year, as I already said in the State of the Department address, 2 assistant professors moved to associate levels, 1 associate professor moved to full professor level, and our CLT moved to senior CLT. And I'm grateful to Andy's ability to appreciate their contributions and lend support to all these amazing cases. Again, without team support, those things are not happening. So I also came to deeply appreciate Andy's advice on how to get things done at Hunter College. The first time it happened when I was interim chair, as Ellen mentioned, right, in 2013, 2014. So without Andy's guidance, it would be not possible for us to bring to fruition masters in geoinformatics, because that happened, the finalization happened during this year. I learned so much during this process from how everything works curriculum-wise, approvals or whatever at Hunter College to CUNY level, which we also have to the state level, because this program had to go all the way to the state, to Albany. So more recently, you also provided vital support and guidance on undergraduate spatial data science certificate, which is going to make a huge difference, I believe, in our department, and also in sustainability certificate and minor, which is still in the making. So Andy actually advised us on creating the strategic plan for the department, on which we diligently worked, right? And I know that my colleagues want now to update the strategic plan so that it keeps working as this kind of living guiding document for our department. So also back then, I mean 2014, 2015, deans had deep pockets, okay? And I must say that Andy drew funds from those pockets with purpose and generosity. Our computer labs at that time became like obsolete in terms of computing power. And when I asked as interim chair about how to replace them, Andy understood the critical need. And instead of sending me to multiple rounds of negotiations with ISET, and back then ISET leadership was very opaque and I was like a new person, he actually gave us funds for those new computers, okay? That was huge for us at the time because of the prominence of technology in our curriculum, right, in GIS. So for me personally, actually, it was very empowering because I thought, oh, Chira can actually make a good case to administration. Chair can make things happen. Chair can make a difference for the department. And that was very, very important understanding and feeling, Andy, also because of your attitude. And I must say that Andy generously supported several research projects by our faculty from his funds, also gave us more than once money to pay for this event, also gave us money to pay for geography awareness week speakers, including, remember, we had this very good event, I think it was 2019 with Karen Sito coming to the department, and it was big. Food was great. Students were like queuing to Karen Sito for hours, I think, after her talk. It was really amazing. So we are grateful for that as well. So let me just make sure that I don't miss anything. Okay, and finally, Andy's personal style has been that of a skilled leader who is also, maybe surprisingly, is a human being, okay? We don't see deans usually as human beings. So although Andy has accomplished practically everything he thought was a right thing to do, this is my kind of watching you being the dean of the college, I saw Andy defeated a couple of times as well. We Hunter chairs have strong opinions, that's for sure. And so does indeed upper Hunter College administration. And the dean obviously is squeezed between, right, the administration and the chairs. It is a very, very tough spot to be in, okay? And despite being obviously disappointed, Andy never lost his cool and never let his frustrations to guide his actions. So Andy kind of moves on. And that was very, very important leadership effort for me as well. So also when talking to others, like a group of department chairs, for example, or a small meeting with a couple of people or one-to-one, Andy is always both painfully honest. So he's not going to sugarcoat anything for you, that's for sure. But he's also humorous at the same time. As a result, my interactions of those years with you, Andy, were at times very frustrating, but they never felt like a lost cause. Okay, I felt that the dean is a human being with a mission to look after the institution within which my department had a meaning to the dean. And that was very important. Last but not the least, Andy had thoughtfully prepared his exit, right? For those of you who don't know, Andy is stepping down from the position of the dean. And we now have a new amazing dean, Erica Chito-Childs, who was going to be here but couldn't. And I know Erica is a former sociology chair from Hunter College, and she's amazing. So I'm confident that our new chair, Peter Murkatulio, will have a great dean as well. And it is an honor to greet you, Dean Polsky, our Anastasia van Berkelo Award. Can you do that now? Oh my gosh, now we have to, okay, I'm sorry. We have to read the proclamation now. Okay, sorry, Andy, it's almost done, almost done. Okay. Okay, so proclamation. Whereas on this day, May 16th, 2024, the Department of Geography and Environmental Science at Hunter College of the City of New York bestows its Anastasia Van Berkele Award for Distinguished Service. And whereas this award may be given to an individual for exemplary service and contribution to the Department of Geography and Environmental Science at Hunter College. And whereas Andrew J. Polsky served above and beyond his duties for 11 years as the Ruth and Harold Newman Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences of Hunter College, to which he provided visionary leadership through critical periods of the budgetary crisis and COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas Andrew J. Polsky demonstrated keen understanding of the crucial importance of geographic, geospatial, and environmental research and education in general, and its outstanding significance during times of climate emergency and humanity's urgent quest for environmental and social sustainability. And whereas Andrew J. Polsky enhanced our department through development of a strategic plan and support of alliance in the areas of earth science and geography, as well as curricular advances such as a new master's in geoinformatics and undergraduate certificate in spatial data science. And whereas Andrew J. Polsky provided generous support to our faculty and students and to the departmental initiatives such as Geography Awareness Week, Earth Day celebrations, and the annual reception and awards presentation. And whereas Andrew J. Polsky, by means of all of the above, has promoted academic excellence and furthered both undergraduate and graduate education within the Department of Geography and Environmental Science at Hunter College. And then it is hereby proclaimed that the 2024 Anastasia Van Berkele Award for Distinguished Service is bestowed on Andrew J. Polsky. Wait, it's not all over. You also get this wonderful plaque. Yes, yes.
The picture.
Yes.
Whose stuff is this?
Sorry, I know it spoils the picture. I thought about it, Alex, but
It's just in the
I
picture.
decided to go for it.
Okay, all right. You wanna open the proclamation, I guess, and then you can like
I can
present this. Yeah, okay, great, perfect.
With this burden.
Okay, forever.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mariana, very much. But I thought I was getting an electric car. The plaque is nice, but so I do want to say a few words. First of all, I appreciate learning again about all the things I did over the past 11 years, many of which I had slipped my mind over time. I'm especially pleased by the progress that faculty members have made while I was dean. Professor Ibrahim over here, I remember, was my friend, was also promoted, and that was part of the efforts that we wanted to make over time. Jochen also, that's right. I'd have to look around there. And so I've been involved in your lives as dean in many ways over the past 11 years, and indirectly with the students as well. But what I want to do now is take a couple of minutes to turn the tables a little bit on Mariana, if I may. Not good. So, Mariana's very generous. It's true. I mean, we had our arguments, but we got, we go over them. And I never, ever had a grudge with somebody I had an argument with. So Mariana, if I got mad at you the second time, it's because you pissed me off again. It happens. But Mariana is an incredibly fierce advocate for this department. About all sorts of things. She mentioned, cutting the adjunct budget. That was one of the things. Somebody tries to take away one of the women's bathrooms on the 10th floor, and she's ready to mount an armed revolt. No, she is quite fierce. And she'd come into my office and we would argue, and I would joke that I still have the bite marks in my ankles from the last time that we were disagreeing. So I will tell you one of my favorite stories. Mariana knows this little anecdote because I told it recently. She came into my office once, and Mariana, when she came into your office to make a case, you were going to hear the case. You could say yes at the beginning, it didn't matter. If she had taken the time to prepare the arguments, you were going to hear the arguments. Yes, no, it didn't matter. You were going to hear them. Okay, I'm fine with that. So there was one time we were in my office and we were having a disagreement of some kind, and we had a noon appointment, I think, and the minutes stretched on. Mariana was walking me through her arguments, and I wasn't saying yes. And then she started walking me through some of them the second time, and I still wasn't saying yes. And finally, it's about 12:40 in the afternoon, and I realize our half-hour appointment is going well beyond a half an hour. So I stand up from our table. Mariana stands up. I take a couple of steps towards the door. Mariana takes a couple of steps towards the door. She continues to make her points. I continue to say, thank you. No, it's not going to happen. We're not going to do that. And finally, slowly get her to the door. I open the door and out she goes. And I close the door. And about 3 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. It's Mariana. And she comes in and she says, I just want you to know you're very good at walking people out of your office. Now, I'll just say, when you're a dean, you get a lot of compliments because sometimes people will flatter you, and they mean them, but they're saying it partly because you're a dean. So some of them really stay with you because they're so authentic. The person genuinely means it. And that was always the case with Mariana. We had a very honest and open relationship with each other, agree or disagree. There's one aspect, Mariana is very generous with her praise, and I appreciate that. But she and I share one, I think, significant frustration. Both of us believe deeply that more students should be studying in this department, that more students should be studying environmental science and sustainability. And I think one of her frustrations and mine is that we haven't yet made that connection with the students to get them to see how important the subject is and why this is something that should be a field in which people are taking much more interest. Because let's face it, the future of all of their futures depend on our ability to achieve success in mitigating climate change and making significant alterations in the way people live their lives in relation to the environment. I'll just say finally that one of the things I'm going to be doing when I step down as dean is I'm working on a book which is called Distant Dangers, The Politics of Future Crises. And when I tell people the title, almost every time people say, oh, you mean like global warming, right? And so I'll be working on this not from the standpoint of an environmental scientist, but from the standpoint of a political scientist. And one of the things that I find really shocking and distressing about this, because you are all deep in this discipline and studying it seriously and you understand the problem, is on my bookshelf at home, there are 4 or 5 books that are basically climate change denialists. All right. There's a literature out there and a vast audience for this literature. And one of the common themes I find across time and across different situations is that the inability to deal with a distant danger often involves denialism on the part of people who simply refuse to recognize and have either a vested interest or a partisan interest in not paying attention and in claiming that the world isn't doing that. And there's a receptive audience for people who want to hear that message, which frankly, we haven't yet figured out a way to overcome that. So I'll just leave you with that thought. And thank you very, very much for this award and sharing this evening with you. And I'm still waiting for the electric car, so.
And it will be after you write this book. Actually, I'm thinking about this movie. What is it called? Don't Look Up. Do you remember this movie? So this is it. Okay. Okay, so now we are moving towards one of our most significant and long-standing departmental awards. So this is award from the Society of Women Geographers, and we are talking about Adeline Moffat Fellowship. It will be presented to two students, Rebecca John and Rosemary McGuinness, and presented by our amazing friend, Susan Leonard, who is a chairperson of New York chapter of Society of Women Geographers. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you. The Society of Women Geographers supports the limitless potential and curiosity of women identifying scientists, artists, explorers, and advocates as they work to create positive impacts in the stewardship, study, and exploration of human culture and the natural world. Once again, it is my honor to present the Society of Women Geographers Adeline Moffat Fellowship Awards. As the Society nears its centenary next year, I would like to honor the close ties it has established with the department here at Hunter College. We have been giving this fellowship to graduating Hunter women since 2000. Since I became chair of the New York group in 2015, we have given 16 graduate fellowships, including the 2 that we award today. Anastasia van Berkelo, former chair of this department, became a member of the Society of Women Geographers in 1950. And in 2002, she was given our Meritorious Service Award. Molly Whitaker Webb, 2010 recipient of the Moffat Fellowship, became president of the Society in 2019, and she is now at Washington University in St. Louis. Our 2 fellowship awardees today already have a history with SWG. They each received our Sally Clark Award to enable them to travel in order to do some of the fundamental research for what they are studying now. It is with great pleasure that I announce the 2024 recipients of the Adeline Moffat Fellowship, Rebecca John and Rosemary McGuinness. And I believe their professors are going to introduce them, or?
Yes, I think.
Yes.
Do we have a video from? We are waiting for the video from Indy Ryman, who is Rosemary's mentor. And Rosemary actually is here. Rebecca is not here, but Rosemary is right there. So.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really sorry that I can't be there in person, but I wanted to congratulate all of our awardees and all of our students that are graduating this semester. And in particular, I just wanted to say a few words about Rosemary McGuinness, one of our master students. I've known Rosemary for a few years now. She started working with us really closely in a research capacity in 2022, first helping us with field work, and then really settling into some research that we were doing where we really needed some remote sensing expertise. And I have to say that I've worked with a bunch of graduate students and master students at Hunter over the years. And I think a lot of other people in the department would agree with me in saying that Rosemary has really proven herself to be one of the most rewarding and capable students that I've ever worked with, and perhaps that have come through our program. Rosemary, as she was working with my group, we were trying to figure out what her master's project would be. And what she ultimately settled into was trying to tackle this really complicated problem. And that is, how do we quantify tree canopy cover in cities? This is really important because expanding canopy cover is a real cornerstone of a lot of cities' sustainability objectives. And currently, our gold standard for quantifying canopy cover is to use really expensive airborne LiDAR data, which is great. But like I said, it's expensive and we don't have data for every year. And so Rosemary really dove into trying to see if we could use freely available remote sensing products to do a good job of mapping canopy cover in a city. And so we got some funding from the Nature Conservancy and worked closely with a colleague over there. And Rosemary just really like dove headfirst into this and really exemplified just her skill sets as a coder, as a burgeoning remote sensing scientist, and just overall as like a creative thinker and a creative scientist. And in the end, she was able to develop a model for New York City that at the neighborhood scale did just as good of a job at predicting canopy cover as our LiDAR-based models. This is a really exciting development, and I'm really excited to see the paper that Rosemary publishes from this. This will lead to her thesis work, which right now we expect to be titled The Generalizable Model for Quantifying Tree Canopy Cover in Urban and Suburban Areas Using Publicly Available Satellite Data. I know that Rosemary is destined for really wonderful things, and I just feel so honored to have had the opportunity to work with her at this stage of her career. And Rosemary, congratulations. All the awards and all the good things coming to you are very well deserved. Have a good evening, everyone.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm so honored to have my work recognized by the Society for Women Geographers. It's such a storied organization, and I'm just really proud to receive the support of it for my work. So as Andy just briefly summarized, for my thesis project, I am indeed developing a machine learning model that uses publicly available satellite data to quantify tree canopy cover in urban areas. And a key part of this model is that I'm working to make it generalizable so that it can be used, it can be reliably used in areas other than where it was trained. And I'm really excited about this because this would be a really useful tool to put in the hands of all of the smaller cities and municipalities that want to track and meet their climate and sustainability goals, but can't necessarily afford the more expensive methods like LiDAR for monitoring their tree canopy. So this fellowship is really exciting because it's going to allow me to continue developing this project over the summer. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to bring this project to its full potential. So thank you very much. Excellent. Congratulations, Rosemary. Sounds really amazing. I would love to see it. I understand how at neighborhood scale, right, the modeling has to be very precise. And if you were able to do it, it's amazing. Proud of you. Okay, so now I'm going to say a few words about the thesis by Rebecca John, who cannot be with us today because she got on the plane this morning. So tickets were booked before the announcement was made. So Rebecca has been in our program for some time, and she's taking courses in geography. Never took a course with me, but she's taking courses in geography in our department and also at the graduate center. And she wrote a thesis with an ambitious title, Fiber Sheds, Textiles as the Basis for a New World, in which she examines the possibility for sustainable textile and clothing production. The thesis asks, is it possible to move away from environmentally damaging and socially exploitative global textile industry towards making clothes based on sustainable and non-capitalist ways? Recently, geographers and other scientists paid critical attention to fast fashion. I'm sure you guys have heard that term. Its connection to global racial capitalism and production of consumerist culture, especially in the West, that drives it. Rebecca's work draws on those literatures in order to make a step beyond critiques of fast fashion. Her research looks at how people create alternatives today in the United States, what motivates their actions, and whether those alternatives indeed provide a departure from capitalist global production networks in textile industry. So these are very complicated questions, right? And we kind of tend to see that apart from some thinkers who think of alternatives, right? There is nothing else. But it turns out there is a lot going on, including in the societies like the United States, where people not only think about alternatives, but actually organize their lives around them. So Rebecca synthesized several relevant literatures and applied them towards understanding of alternative clothing manufacturing. These bodies of literature include slow food and slow fashion movements, regenerative agriculture and agroecology, diverse economies and solidarity economies, delinking and development from below, and ethics of care, social reproduction. So these are very kind of important and very different literatures. Those literatures provided a basis for developing criteria for evaluation of an empirical case study of an organization called Fibershed, a nonprofit that supports alternative clothing industry at a national level. In addition, 2 regional case studies, affiliates of Fibershed in the Northeast of the United States, were examined: Carbon Farm Network and Local Fibers. Their intentions and activities were analyzed with respect to making a shift to local production, engaging into sustainable fiber production, changing organization of enterprises towards cooperative models, delinking from global capitalist system, and implementing ethics of care, intending to fiber-producing animals such as sheep, goats, alpacas, and taking care of the planet. The conclusion is that while it is very hard to delink from the larger economy, right, the participants have a strong ethics to organize their livelihoods on a different basis. And again, it's not just, we are not talking about people who are independently wealthy and just want to do their own thing on a little farm and don't care about anything. For those people, it is a livelihood, right? So they need to support themselves in this way. And they do so because they believe that capitalism causes environmental destruction and disconnects people from land, nature, and communities. So Rebecca is sent the thesis to the second reader, and making revisions will be graduating in the summer. Originally, the plan was to graduate in the spring, but believe it or not, sometime we don't know for sure, between December and February, she lost her entire thesis, right? It was like, you know, on Google Docs, and she wasn't picking it up, it turns out. So, but then she diligently and with a lot of care recreated the thesis. I think it got a little shorter, but you know, the essence of it is there. So I'm very proud of her being persistent and not giving up, you know, in this particular situation. So this is about her work. And Amy, do we have a little video from Rebecca? No, okay, she wasn't able to record it. But I'm so excited. We have, I think, 2 amazing women who do amazing research. And I also want to emphasize that this research really illustrates the breadth of geographic scholarship and how those 2, being master students in geography program, study different aspects of it, right? Processes of nature that we need to understand in urban setting, and also transformational processes that we all need to see and scale up in order to address the crisis. So wonderful. Yeah. We used to have those checks, right? But we
Yeah,
don't pay the check.
I haven't done that in years. Okay, you'll get it.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't have put this piece of cheese into my mouth. Okay. Thank you again, Susan, for that sustained support. We really count on it. Thank you. So now we are moving to another fantastic award that does not have that long of a history. But I think now, and maybe Amy can suggest now we have this award, or Jochen, do you remember maybe for 5 years we have it? Alice Hudson Map Award. I'm not sure it's longer. We have to find out.
It's longer, 'cause I remember the first time that you were giving it.
Okay,
The last couple of years. Well, it's obviously when we were live.
right.
That's probably about 5 years.
This, yeah, something like that.
Alice was never, right.
Exactly. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes. So we are going to hear about Alice Hudson, I assume, from Steve Hannon, who is the president of New York Map Society, who gives this award to our students in Alice Hudson's name. And he will present this award via the video. And this year, this award goes to 2 students, Liana Kabili and Pedro Oliveira. I know that Pedro cannot be here, but I know that Liana can. And where is she? Oh, there you go. There you go. Congratulations. Wonderful. Congratulations. So, Amy, we can. Oh, okay.
Great, Amy, am I on?
Oh, okay. You're on, Steve. Oops, now it's.
Okay, great. Hope you can hear me. Well, first of all, thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Steve Hannon. I'm the president of the New York Map Society. And it's a pleasure to be here to share with you the afternoon to honor your students who've submitted entries to Alice Hudson Award and also the other awards that were presented. Very interesting to see the great work you're doing at Hunter, and I think it's terrific. New York Map Society, just for a minute, our members are currently include scholars, librarians, collectors, preservationists. We have artists and map designers, and just general map enthusiasts of all kinds. And, you know, we are a community-based organization offering the public information about and the ability to interact and participate with and in map-related events. We typically host a speaker series where scholars or authors come together and collectors to learn and celebrate new discoveries, share ideas, and have fun. So you're all welcome to join us at any time. Our upcoming events are listed on our website, the NewYorkMapSociety.org. So we encourage you to join us at any one of our meetings that are open to the public. But as a leading map society, you know, one of our strategies is to support cartographic studies and scholarship. So, you know, we decided it would be appropriate to support scholarship through an award in the honor of one of our most distinguished members, Alice Hudson, who also has a strong connection with the school, the Hunter School, and particularly the School of Geography and Environmental Sciences. And just a few notes about maps. Maps are powerful tools for helping us to visualize and understand our world. They can transform the way we think about place, urban development, war, and to solve complex problems. Their relevance is just as important in the digital age as it was in the Gilded Age of Dutch cartography. I'm continually amazed at the vast and expanding applications of maps as art, storytelling aids, persuasive tools, and increasingly as analytical tools to visualize and solve problems, particularly in the area of public health, environmental science in particular. One of the first examples of this work, which I'm fond of, is Dr. John Snow, a physician in London in 1854, to pinpoint the source of the Great London Cholera outbreak to an infected water pump, when the prevailing wisdom was that cholera was spread through the air, which was not, in fact, the case. So maybe one of you will make a similar contribution to either cartography, environmental science, or public health after you graduate. It looks like some interesting projects with the tree canopies. I think that's fascinating to think about what the implications that might be for, for environmental studies and such. And now, what about Alice? Alice was a force in the field of map librarianship during its formative period. Her decades-long career, she guided and mentored countless scholars and colleagues. And her curatorial and her collection work at the New York Public Library helped establish it as one of the premier map divisions in the country, if not the world. Her research into history of cartography, and particularly her work in centering on the contributions of women in map making, continues to inform and inspire today's researchers. So I think it's appropriate that this is coming on the heels of the Women in Cartography Awards. Alice joined the NYPL, the New York Public Library, right after graduating from Middle Tennessee State University with a BS in Geography and a Master's in Library Science from Peabody College at Vanderbilt University. Alice went on to have a distinguished career in library science, cartographic curation, and education. Her awards are numerous, but a few worth noting are: one, the Sloan Award for Public Service, fund for the City of New York in 2001. Hunter College, she was also a recipient of the City University of New York Geology and Geography Award, the Anastasia von Berkelo Award, which is the highest honor at Hunter. So she received that in 1994. And she taught honors classes in cartography at the Rare Book School at the University of Virginia, Pratt School of Library and Information Science, and Hunter College Department of Geology and Geography, I think back in its earlier iteration before we added the environmental science, component to the name. So that's just the background on who we are and why we honor Alice. As was mentioned earlier, we had two winners this year. The prize comes with a cash prize of $750 to each of the winners. One, the interactive map submission was Pedro Oliveira, where he did a interactive map with various layers of geodemographic information about Sao Paulo in Brazil. Very interesting to click and very navigable. And he did a really fine job with a little video explaining it. And Liana Kabili, who's there, she produced a static map, if you will, of the sources of water fountains in New York City public parks in Queens in particular, stratified by demographic income levels. And I think the interesting there is like it's an application of how you can apply cartography to a public health kind of either problem or issue or situation. So access to clean water is a global problem. It's a public health problem, and it's also about sort of equal access to those resources that we all share. So I'd like to congratulate the two winners, Pedro and Liana. I don't know, Liana, you were there. Do you want to say anything? Or Amy, were you going to put up her map? Do you have that available? Or
Yeah, just wanted to thank Steve for that thoughtful analysis of maps and for supporting our students with such generous words.
it's our pleasure.
Ooh, I'm very nervous, so I'm so sorry for my demeanor if it's a little awkward. I wanted to take this time first to say thank you. I'm pretty sure just about every single professor that I've had in the environmental studies department is here right now. So I want to say thank you to you guys. I was told to prepare just like a sort of little summary about the motivation behind my map. It's actually part of the capstone that I'm doing with Professor Alan Fry. Yeah, I was born and raised in Queens, so that was one of my most pushing factors. I grew up in Jackson Heights, Queens, and when I was in my junior year of high school, I actually moved to Forest Hills. If you guys know anything about those two neighborhoods, they're very different in demographics. And I remember when I look back at my time in high school, because most of my friend group at the time was born and raised in Forest Hills, I was beginning to get very interested in just social justice things and environmental justice, especially that was egged on here at Hunter College. A lot of the curriculum that my teachers focus on touches upon that. So I decided I wanted to integrate that into my senior capstone project. And I think Enrique is the only professor here that knows, but I actually got accepted into a grad program at the CUNY Graduate School for Public Health and Health Policy in Public Health. So I thought it was nice that the New York Math Society just pointed out that the implications on that, and I'm very excited to be able to pursue my education there. Thank you.
Great. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much.
Do you have anything about Pedro? Okay.
So hi, my name is Pedro Oliveira. I am a PhD student at the Graduate Center, in environmental science. So I'm from Brazil, the region that I did this map. I'm from São Paulo. So this is a really nice demographic map. So this is São Paulo. It has more than 600 cities within the state. So this map is basically a demographic map with a lot of different indicators. So for example, here you can see we have different layers. Like for example, you can see like the population layer. All of them you have like a color ramp from low to high values in dark colors. So it's a really nice map. It's a really nice way to see like, for example, population distribution within the state. You can see degree of urbanization within the state. And what is really nice is that, for example, you can choose a city in specific. For example, I want to see, for example, Peruíbe. It's going to zoom into the city when selected the city here. And it's going to show you all the indicators that need population. And besides the map, you can see the indicators here. You can change between them. You have different indicators that you can see here. And here you can compare the city we're looking to the other cities around, like here cities within map range. So as you can see, for example, population average, so basically Peruíbe is close to the average when you think about those neighbors. So you can also click on the city. For example, you can click here. You have a pop-up, but you can also, when you click on the city, it's gonna change here. And you also have those graphs. Those graphs shows for each city that you choose. You can choose here or here. At the top, you can see a graph of like mean age, and you have these projections of mean age for next years. Population over 6 years old and population below 15 years old. And so all those layers, they are very nice, and you can see a lot of different stuff in here. For example, here elderly population ratio, you can see there is a like concentration of more of elderly population here at this part more than you have here. So here you have more young people than you have here, for example, which is really nice to see the distribution of the population. I think this map is really useful for policymakers or educators or citizens that just want to know about their cities and want to know compare within the state, which is really nice. Population density, you see the capital here, the capital São Paulo, you can see this concentration of population density as expected. But you can see those other cities that they have some population density, high population density too. There are like spots of population of other big cities that you have within the state. So here in the sidebar, you found all the information that you need, city population, all the explanations that you need. You have the data source that you need to understand everything that you see here, everything that you see on the graphs. So yeah, that's a map. So very useful demographic data of a city. I think this can be applied to New York City too. Thinking about, I think to New York State or maybe to New York City, think about neighbors, for example. And like very useful, you can click any city that you want to know more about. You have all these indicators here, and you can compare the indicators with the with the neighbor cities of the city we're selecting. And here all the graphs for all the cities. So very interactive and very easy to follow around. So that's the map. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro.
Yes, wonderful explanation. Thank you. I would like to thank Steve Hannon again, and I would like to congratulate those two amazing cartographers, right? Liana and Pedro. Very good, thank you. And they showcase different things, right? Like, you know, cartography used to be paper-based discipline for so long, where you kind of really need to select very precisely what you want to put on the map, because there is no way to turn on and off the layers. And the second map, Pedro's map, showcases the power of internet and GIS and digital cartography, right? When you can kind of easily move between the layers and explore maps data in this way. Okay, so now we are moving to the next award, which is we've had now for Ines 2 decades.
Pretty close.
Yeah, something like that. And this is Miriam and Sol Cohen Prize for Geographic Excellence. So this year, 3 students received this award. For graduate research paper, it is Rosemary McGuinness. And for undergraduate research papers, these are Nea Latinen and Miriam Van. And it is Professor Ines Miaras and Professor Randy Dranberg who are going to present those amazing awards. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about Saul Cohen and his background and his passion for investing in the next generation of geographers. Saul is a triple alum from Harvard. Back when Harvard had a geography department that imploded while he was a graduate student. And so he's actually was the last PhD to be awarded by Harvard Geography. And it was awarded, he finished after the department had already closed. And so that gave him a real commitment to investing in the next generation and in investing in building programs that were going to be healthy. He went from Harvard to Boston University, where he taught for a number of years before moving to Clark University and building what became the School of Geography, the Graduate School of Geography, where he served as dean, and was where, well, Professor Pavlovskaya and Moulton are both alums of that program. He was committed to diversifying geography and actively recruited a number of of scholars who became some of the early eminent Black geographers in our profession and women in geography. In 1985, he left Clark to be, or 1970s, he left Clark to become president of Queens College, where he also made a very significant impact on the college, he reestablished Townsend Harris High School for raising up excellent high school students, competitive high school students. There was no honors competitive high school in Queens, and he reestablished that. He retired from Queens College in 1985 and came to Hunter as a university professor in our department. Very active in the association, and the American Association of Geographers, had served for a time as the executive director, and he was actually president of the AAG when I joined as a master's student. And I remember the impact that his presidential comments made on me. My first meeting that I went to, and I think it was 1989 at the Toronto meetings. And then I was kind of overwhelmed when he was one of the ones who interviewed me for this position at an ad hoc interview at the San Francisco meetings in 1994. He was very significant in my early career, pushing me to get involved in geographic education programs, working with teachers, doing teacher development, and that, which has resulted in a long-term working relationship with a number of teachers here in the city, but also with the School of Education in incorporating geography into the social studies education program and the Masters in Earth Science Education and the BAMA in that a lot of that was, the groundwork for that was laid with, by Saul. He retired from a second time from Hunter and spent the next 17 years serving as a New York State regent. And, bringing geography back into the K-12 curriculum, and, improving education overall. He was actually the one who brokered the agreement for ending open enrollment that helped improve the competitiveness, restore the quality of the CUNY senior colleges, somewhat of which had been lost with open enrollment. And and he continued to just be a mover and shaker now statewide in education in general and in geographic education especially. When he retired from Hunter, he continued in this role until he died at 95. There was no slowing him down. He retired and started another career every time. He and his wife endowed this award that is an award for excellence in research and writing in geography, broadly defined. So, any of the categories. He was a political geographer, very prolific scholar, but he, was all for supporting students who did whatever type of geography. And we include our environmental science students, our environmental studies majors as well in this. This is not restricted to just the geography majors, but these are papers that are submitted by faculty that represent excellent work done independently by students. They can be capstones so that the faculty was a mentor. But this is not, these are not co-authored papers. These, and in every case, when you look at these papers, you read these papers, these are publication quality papers in many cases. And so I have the honor of introducing our graduate winner. We have graduate and undergraduate awardees. And our graduate winner is Rosemary McGinnis for her report monitoring New York City's urban tree canopy using satellite imagery. That was a report made to the Nature Conservancy, and that was a portion of her research. So congratulations.
Okay, so you already heard from me, so I'll keep this brief. I really want to take this opportunity to thank all of the professors that I've worked with at Hunter. Every single class that I've taken here, the professors in this department are universally so supportive, so attentive and caring of all of their students. And I'm just really appreciative of that. And this is the reason that I was able to earn this award.
So I will be presenting this year's undergraduate awards, and it is my honor to present this year's Cohen Awards for Excellence in Undergraduate Research. Both of our awardees submitted excellent capstone projects. One award goes to Miriam Van, who can't be here tonight. Her project was entitled Impact of Invasive Plant Species on the Growth Rate of Native Canopy Oak Trees. The second award goes to Naya Lahinton for her project entitled Lifelong Health and Sustainability Impact of School Nutrition Programs. It was my privilege to work with both of these students. Congratulations and good luck with your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. I'll try to keep it relatively succinct, but thank you so much to the entire department, to all of the professors I've had along the way. I know I've experienced so much growth throughout my time at Hunter, so much learning. And, special shout out to Professor Retberg, who supported me throughout this process. I think I had a lot of big ideas and a very scatterbrained way of presenting them. And without her, this wouldn't have been possible. She's very modest and probably would not admit to the tremendously impactful role she had on my project. But I'm very, very grateful for her. I'm grateful for my grandma who has joined me today. Yeah. She has been a role model throughout my life. Grateful for my grandpa who is not with us today, but he's here with me. And yeah, I'm just very grateful for everyone in my life. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again to all three of you, and especially to Nea, Rosemary Huahira. Okay, so our next award is also very special. It is Oak Tree Prize that is established by Jack Eichenbaum. And in the beginning, I said that Jack will be fondly remembered by all of us and all people who, came to any kind of interaction with him in this life. Really amazing person and also very generous person, obviously, and committed to our department, right? So now this award goes to Sebastian Sopek. Here is Sebastian, and it will be presented by Professor Shruti Phillips. Shruti, come on.
It's my pleasure to announce the winner of the Oak Tree Prize, which was founded and generously funded by Dr. Eichenbaum. One little tidbit about this prize: it's called Eichenbaum. It's called Oak Tree because Eichenbaum in German and Yiddish means oak tree. So that's why he named it that. He conceived it as a competitive prize awarded annually to support students doing qualitative fieldwork. So he emphasized fieldwork and collecting original data within one or more of the boroughs in New York City. So this prize is open to all graduate and undergraduate geography and environmental studies majors at Hunter College and comes with a cash award of $500. So this year we had 3 excellent papers submitted for this prize. And among them, the winning paper was titled Hell's Kitchen and Greenpoint, a case study on gentrification by Sebastian Sopek. He won the award because his paper demonstrated the best combination of fieldwork with original analysis, while also providing the literature review to put the results in context. So please join me in congratulating Sebastian. Congratulations.
This kind of caught me by surprise. I was not ready for this award, but I just want to thank everyone in the department, Professor Miyares, who taught 2 of my classes. I'm actually an urban studies major, but I plan to do a lot more research and fieldwork in the city. It's something that I'm really eager to do. I think it's more fun than sitting in an office, actually being out there and talking to people and getting them to do surveys. Although it's not easy at all. It's been pretty difficult, especially in the beginning. But it's something that I'm really excited to continue doing in the future. And continuing I'm actually going to be continuing with the master's in urban planning program. So I'm really excited for that as well. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations, Sebastian. You probably are a geographer. You just ended up by mistake in another program. No, we love urban planning. Truly. Okay, wonderful. So now we are moving to, I can't believe we're almost done. We are moving to our last award, which is an award for academic excellence and leadership, which was actually established by Hunter College past president Jennifer Raab. So her intention was to give out a small cash award to students who prove themselves to be of note to the department. And the amount is $250. And I'm inviting, we have several students who received this award. It is Marinella Ferrari Bridges, right there, Marinella. Presley Hernandez. Did he end up coming here? Oh, there you go. This is Presley Hernandez. Peter Manos. Where is Peter? Oh, right there. Huh? Wonderful. Sadie Wan. Sadie? Oh, she's not here. Okay. Lin Wang. Where is Lin? I thought he was coming. Oh, he's on. Okay, all right. We will forgive him. And Professor Alex Malton is going to present this award to the students.
Because Mariana said we're running too quick, I'm gonna talk for like the next 20 minutes to make sure that we end at 8. So you can get some water if you need to. I'm kidding. These awards are made possible by a generous gift by Jennifer Raab, the former president. The award recognizes students who have distinguished themselves through academic excellence and leadership. Peter Manos was admitted to Hunter through the prestigious Macaulay Honors College University program. That program provides support for outstanding educational opportunities for academically gifted students from the 5 boroughs. Since his admission to Hunter, he has distinguished himself as one of the most engaged students in our department. One key aspect of this has been his work as president of the Greenbelt Society. The Greenbelt Society, as some of you have heard by now, is the premier student organization here at Hunter, focused on environmental science and sustainability. As its president, Peter has helped to coordinate countless activities and service activities that advance environmental justice, sustainability, and climate awareness. Peter is a member of the Ryman Research Group led by Professor Andy Ryman, and supports that group's research with his own research project focused on tree ring growth across various climate gradients. Just sit for and then everybody can do the photo because, yeah, all right, thanks. Professor Ramiro Campos, in offering a nomination for Marinella Ferrari Bridgers, offered the following assessment, quote, "I've been teaching since 2001 and I've never met such a truly class act. A student that is never late with assignment, goes above and beyond with their written assignments and in-class participation. I've had valedictorians as students before, and they cannot shine her shoes. Marinella is brilliant and a true student of science in the Enlightenment fashion, with a strong social justice drive. Professor Campos's evaluation of Marinella is shared by other faculty who have observed her as an astute student, well poised for future stellar academic performance." He recently signed up for my Black Geography course, so, you know, of course it's true. Hunter Undergraduate STEM Research Conference is the principal forum for undergraduates to present their research via research posters. 3 of our awardees were among the students who participated in this year's research showcase. They are Sadie Wang, Lin Wang, Presley Hernandez. Presenting research based on collaboration with department faculty, these 3 awardees proudly represented the rich scholarship undertaken in our department at the event in April. 2 of these scholars will go on to present at the second annual CUNY-wide undergraduate research celebration on May 24th. With their inquisitive minds, analytical skills, and problem-solving skills, Sadie, Presley, and Lynn and Peter are among the students in our department that are recognized by their supervisors and mentors for exemplifying the ideals of the Presidential Award for Academic Excellence and Leadership.
All right, you can stand next to Lynn on the screen.
Presley also presented research at AGU, the American Geophysical Union Conference.
Oh, this is so funny. Truly hybrid, that's right. All right, congratulations. And thank you, Professor Moulton, for such a beautiful introduction for every student. So now we are done with the program, right? So almost. So what we wanted to do is at the very end, we just wanted to greet the students who are graduating this semester or in the summer, the ones of you who filed for graduation. And the way we thought we will do it, and where is Amy? Oh, okay. So we would like to read your names. And if you are here, please stand up. Or all of you can stand up, or you can kind of, wave your hands so we can all just cheer for you. And Amy, how did we decide to do it? Am I going to do it, or like our advisors can do it? And where are the slides? We need the slides. Oh, okay. Excellent. So why don't we, advisors, then do it? Okay, let me just see. BA in geography. Okay, Ellen is not here, so Peter is going to do it because Peter also is advisor for environmental studies for the last months. Okay, so please just read their names. Yay! Well, they're graduating from us.
It's Leonard here. Party with my student, I don't think he's here either. Walter's here.
Walter is taking the exam right now.
Oh.
Yeah, he's waiting for an exam.
Okay.
I can't see.
See you there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right, so where were we? We called Leonard and Thomas and Walter. Next is Emily. And thank you, Jarby. Okay, those were our geography major graduates. Thank you very much. Now, I think there's 19 environmental studies graduates. I just want to take note of this, is that of the 19, 11 of them are graduating with honors.
Excellent.
Okay, let's see, James Rio. Is James here? No, how about Melanie? Rutima's mine. Yes, she's not here, I don't think. Emmeline. Kelsey's not here, I don't think.
Okay.
Nicole. Monique, I'm sorry, what am I saying? Monique. Fadwa. Yay. Fadwa, want to say a few words?
I didn't have anything prepared, but again, I would like to extend my thanks to every single professor who has helped me get to this point. It has been a tremendously difficult time, but thanks to your encouragement, I'm proud to have completed my thesis and to be graduating this semester. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Naimul? Jose. Jose, come on up. Come on up here. Say a few words for us.
I am not prepared for any speech at this moment, but I thank to all your professors for this amazing journey. And I wish well to all the other students as well. Congratulations. Thank you.
Perfect, that was perfect. Where, Liana? Do you want to come up again and say something? Yes. Come on. This is the fun part. We want to hear from our students.
I just wanted to say thank you again. Undergrad has been so much harder than I was expecting, but I made it. Thank you.
And did it well. Jared. Annie Guan, she's not here. She's mine. Presley, come on up, say a few words.
Like everyone else, I didn't have anything prepared, but I would like to thank everyone who's taught me in this department. Shout out to Professor Campos for being the first class I took in this department. Shout out to Professor Rutberg for advising me on my senior thesis. And thank you to everybody who showed up today. So
Thank you, thank you. Sarah's not here? No. Nai, you want to say a few words again? Come on.
Yeah, again, very thankful for all my professors for the department. And just to add a little something new, I guess I'm also very grateful to have been in a department where I'm so inspired by the students that I'm surrounded by every day. So yeah, just very inspired by everyone I've gone along this journey with.
Okay, Kobe. Kobe Lee, no. Angela. And Miriam. Okay, graduating class this year. Any? Oh, Peter, sorry. Peter, sorry. Peter Manos, come on up here. Thank you.
Oh, it's my life.
That's why I missed it there.
Thanks so much to all the amazing professors I have, all the other students here that I've gotten to meet and know over the past 4 years. It's been really great being in class with you, and also just huge shout out to Greenbelt for the incredible sense of community that I felt with them, and all the activities I've been able to do with them over the past 4 years. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, and so now we have our graduate students. So it is Jochen and Shipeng, right? If you could do it for image geography and for geoinformatics.
All right, I would like to congratulate Peter. But they don't have to see me. All right. Well, then it's the same issue. I would like to congratulate Peter. Woo! Rebecca?
Peter too. Where is he? Did he need to leave?
He didn't last.
No. Rebecca and Jada. Like to point out, as a geographer, most people know me as a GIS person. I'm actually the graduate advisor in geography. And this list is exemplary for the width of, or the breadth of geography. It's the whole wide range. As we have seen before, when we saw the prize for Rebecca and Rosemary. Sorry, I'm pretty bad at names, you know that. So this department is attracting really good students. I have worked with students from Harvard, MIT, Berkeley, Columbia, all over the place. This, we don't attract many students, but those that we attract are really good. Thank you.
There's a long list. Yeah, so here is our graduate from the MS in Geoinformatics. So Amy. Tom. Roy. Nicola. Andy.
Well, the only student who is here.
Both are very good. They are not only grow in our school, they also grow their families. And also at school, it's very productive. His life is practical. So.
Yeah, thank you to all of the geoinformatics faculty for your inspiring lessons and encouragement as I've gone through this experience. And to my wife, Navita, for her limitless support and patience. Thank you, everyone.
I'd like to thank Peter for being a tremendous mentor and thesis advisor. I'd also like to thank Professor Swen, with whom I've taken 5 classes over 4 semesters. He's incredibly patient and he's very witty. And I'd just like to highlight that. It's something I've really appreciated. And I wouldn't be able to do this either without my fiance, Emily. And we're very excited to be welcoming our first child in July. So, thank you.
Oh my God, that was a long evening, right? But what? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, Shipeng, you went to your seat. I thought that we were done. You have to announce those students. I don't know if anybody is here. Sorry.
Even though I don't think they are here, but we also have certificate in GIS. So we have 4 here. Solomon, Justin, Jake, and Ian. Congratulations.
All right, so I think the lesson is that all of you graduating students, you have to like tell all of your peers that they must come to this awards reception. Otherwise, all this applause, will not be experienced for them as powerfully as everybody else is experiencing it here. But I'm so proud that so many of our students continue to demonstrate amazing excellence and perseverance. We've heard it's not easy, right? It's not easy. Bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, but you guys are doing it. And we also know that the quality of education that you get in our department is solid. And it is going to provide you a foundation for this, as I like to say now, exploding careers in area of climate emergency, sustainability. These are very, very important skills, right? So you will be in high demand, that's for sure. So I think now we are definitely done, and I would like to thank everyone for staying with us for so long, right? It's been like, I think almost 2.5 hours, not that long. We would be dead by that time for sure, but I'm so happy to hear all this laughter and people are not sleeping. Everybody's excited. And Randy actually is laughing. So very good. Well, thank you everyone. And thank you again to all our donors. Congratulations to students. Thank you to faculty for all this hard work.